International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL and Agricultural Development Bank.
Coming up on International Trade Focus, we shall take a look at the Ghana-Germany trade relations and the role played by the Ghana-German Economic Association, GGEA. And later, government introduces 8 new tax relief measures to take effect in the year 2024.
So Germany is an important trading partner for Ghana. In 2022, Germany's imports from Ghana amounted to over 370 million euros, and the volume of German exports to Ghana was over 290 million euros. So there's no doubt that Ghana-Germany trade partnership is significant for the economic and social well-being of both countries. Here in Ghana, the Ghanaian-German Economic Association, acronymed GGEA, is an alliance for Ghanaian and German companies, entrepreneurs, institutions, organizations, and individuals with business and commercial interest in the two countries. We shall delve deeper into the association's role in fostering mutually beneficial trade relations between Ghana and Germany. My name is Anna Spio, and this is International Trade Focus. International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL, Good Energy, ADB, Truly Agric and more, Public Elegance, and Pediasi Valley Resort.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Are you an importer or exporter? Do you need quick financing at the best rate on the market? ADB has good news for you. Walk into any agricultural development bank location nationwide for that solution to all your trade financing needs. ADB offers you pre-financing of exports and imports, post-shipment credit facilities, bank guarantees, the issuance and acceptance of letters of credit, documentary bills for collection, outward documentary collection. Enjoy free advisory services from our well-trained, dedicated trade officers. Exporters of agricultural products are encouraged to take advantage of this great service. For further enquiries, call us on 0302 210 210. ADB, making trade finance easy. ADB, Truly Agric and more.
What is all this? Why can't we ever seem to get this right? Our meetings are always chaotic, and that's why we are never able to plan efficiently. I have to do something now.
Yes, don't we all love solutions? The Pediasi Valley Resort welcomes you to the stunning surrounds of the Eastern Highlands of Ghana for your next business meeting, seminar, retreat, or conference.
All their venues are equipped with the latest audiovisual technology, as well as their very able conference and banqueting staff. At Pediasi Valley Resort, you will work in peace and relaxation, coupled with scenes and adventures at the Bree Botanical Gardens, the Art Village, and many more. If you find yourself in my situation, remember, Pediasi Valley Resort is your #1 solution. Pediasi Valley Resort. Live life.
Stay tuned for our focal point segment. In a growing, fast-paced world economy, despite economic blocks and vulnerabilities, bilateral trade relations between Ghana and Germany remain resilient, hinged on a mutual commitment between the two countries to thrive on trade and investment. Trade between Ghana and Germany stands on a viable front despite stifling global economic shocks since 2020, with both countries accumulating a total trade volume of about 641 million euros in 2021. According to the United Nations Comtrade database on international trade, the tenacity of the bilateral trade partnership between the two nations in 2022, Germany exports to Ghana mainly on the back of machinery and chemical products was valued at about $314 million, while Ghana exports to Germany mainly on the back of food and raw materials stood at about $332 million. The progressive increase in numbers between the two countries from a $213 million Ghana to Germany export volumes pre-COVID era in 2019 was proof of a gradual yet mutual relationship growing on a fertile trade boost ground. In more recent times, trade between the two nations have proven even more resilient, as data from the Observatory of Economic Complexity revealed that as of August 2023, Germany trade exports to Ghana stood at 19.8 million euros, while its imports to Ghana stood at 14.6 million euros. In the light of the intensifying trade relations between the two countries, establishing a permanent trade presence in 2011 with the Delegate Office of German Industry and Commerce in Ghana, and sealing the deal with Ghana's inclusion in the G20 Initiative Compact with Africa under the German G20 presidency in 2017, was the validation that bilateral reforms and investment partnership between the two countries solidified on a permanent front. Over the course of 7 years, bilateral negotiations on development, cooperation, and investment spiked, with the German government reaching out to Ghana in the making of several grant commitments, as well as the increasing presence of German companies in Ghana. Ghana, on the other hand, continues to push forward the agenda of increasing trade and investment cooperation with Germany to deepen its economic relations, to remain relevant not only to Germany but all over Europe, taking inspiration from the success stories of North Rhine-Westphalia and Germany in building a progressive and prosperous country. President Akufo-Addo, at the 75th anniversary celebration of North Rhine-Westphalia, Dusseldorf in Germany, said with Germany being a major exporter of industrial products and technology led by North Rhine-Westphalia, Ghana was on course to hinge on its relationship to participate fully in the global market as an exporter of manufactured goods, not raw materials. This was also to further guarantee that Ghana will continue to maintain a conducive investment atmosphere for the Germans and worldwide.
North Rhine-Westphalia is not only the most populous state in Germany, but it is also her greatest industrial region, and has consistently for several decades been one of Europe's most important economic centers. These laudable accolades did not happen by chance. It took creativity, determination, enterprise, hard work, and innovation. We in Ghana are drawing inspiration from the success stories of North Rhine-Westphalia and Germany, because likewise, we want to build a progressive and prosperous country. Embarking on such a journey means we are having to accelerate the process of changing the structure of the Ghanaian economy, which will enable us to participate fully in the global marketplace, not on the basis of exports of raw materials, but on the basis of the exports of things we make. With Germany being a major exporter of industrial products and technology, with North Rhine-Westphalia being in the lead, Ghana's relations with Germany are of utmost importance and must be hinged on this. The recent establishment of a Volkswagen assembly plant in Accra is a welcome development, and we are encouraged by the fact that more and more German companies have expressed their willingness to set up shop in Ghana.
In 2022 again, the German government proved that Ghana was worth the investment hub of Africa when it committed a grant of about 82 million euros into Ghana's economy towards building renewable energy, strengthening the financial sector, skills development, digital transformation, and MSME support. Needless to say, as Germany and Ghana continue to foster their economic ties, the presence of a common institution to facilitate business growth for both countries was not left out. The establishment of the Ghanaian-German Economic Association (GGEA) in 1999 was the perfect mediator for promoting trade between the two countries. GGEA, an allied institution geared towards facilitating business and commercial interests between Ghana and Germany, was born out of the two nations' growing bilateral partnership. The association over the years focuses on linking business partners between the two countries by creating an active forum for public and private dialogue, for unlocking business potentials in Germany and sourcing financial partnerships. Designed forums by the association provides information, knowledge and support to both Ghanaian and German businesses to overcome trade bottlenecks and stringent export requirements to the EU market and to take advantage of the viable business opportunities both parties present. As the German ambassador, Daniel Krul, put it at one of the many GGA forums, Ghana's strategic location, growing population, energy potential, and relative peace and proactive policies remain an attractive destination to foreign investors where the prospect of private investment is high if strategic economic policies are put in place.
There are important investors who have a clear rule that they only invest where there is a solid rule of law approach implemented, where corruption is severely challenged, and so that these companies are there. There are others who have a more, let's say, they have a much longer investment perspective. I'm referring to some companies in the construction sector. Some of them don't care about how the situation is in the next 5 years. They are more looking at the major trends. How is the situation in Ghana, in the region, in the next 50 years? And that is, I think, a big plus for the region, is the fact that the corridor, the number of people living in the corridor from Abidjan to Lagos will increase rapidly over time, and that creates enormous business potential.
So Stephen Entry, President of Ghanaian-German Economic Association, he joins us on our in-depth segment this week as we take a look at the role the GGA plays in ensuring mutually beneficial bilateral trade relations between Ghana and Germany. Our in-depth segment comes up next. I found it particularly interesting when you spoke about the fact that, sub-Saharan Africa has sort of been put in one bowl. There's a perception of us not meeting standards, us doing things like any way that we want. I think that feedback is unfortunate, but it's also a very necessary feedback. So for a country like Ghana, if we want to isolate ourselves, quote unquote, and be known as, a country that meets standards, a country that should be respected on the international markets, this feedback is also going to help us. It hurts, but it has the potential of making us do better, making us meet the right standards. And also I found that point particularly interesting, and where you spoke about the fact that we do anything that we want in this country. So if you want to go on the global markets, you can't do the nonsense that you do here on that market. It's definitely going to affect you. So these are areas, I agree with you, these are areas that we need to pay particular attention to. And policy enforcement, self-discipline and all of that will come to play. For the past few years has become very topical. The president keeps talking about it, keeps putting measures in place to champion this agenda. And that's the agenda of adding value to our raw materials before we export. Because we've come to realize that, for instance, exporting cocoa beans is cheaper, or you get little money, let me put it in plain terms, for exporting cocoa beans than exporting chocolates, right? So the importance of adding value to our raw materials before we export cannot be overemphasized. What are your remarks on adding value to raw materials before we export?
I think it's apt. I think it's the way to go. And I think our whole concept of focusing on partnership is geared in that respect. We think that perhaps one of the reasons why we are not adding value is because we don't have sufficient technical competence and capacities to do that. And so by linking up with German friends, we should be able to get that done. You need technology, you need know-how, you need these things to be able to do that. And I guess a policy framework that comes out to say from government that says, if you do value addition and you are able to export, these are some of the incentives. You know, and I think if we don't do that fast enough, other countries in Africa will take advantage of that and be ahead of the curve. The name of the game has been, if you are a leader, if you're able to get in first, it becomes difficult for others to come in to challenge your dominance. And so we have to set this as part of our cardinal policy objectives going forward. That, okay, we've been telling industry to add value, add value. What do we put in place to incentivize them to do that? Mind you, we've been exporting, like you say, if you take cocoa, since your great-grandfather was alive, we've been exporting cocoa beans all these years. Has that changed the lives of our cocoa farmers in any way? Same thing. Now, luckily, we have companies in here that have started adding value to cocoa, processing them, and selling them at much more higher prices. That is the way to go, and that there should be an incentive that will spur more of that, so that in the end, we might not even have to export a single cocoa bean. All our cocoa would be processed to whoever wants to come in. And for that to happen, and happen in a very seamless manner, these partnerships that I talk about should be there, should come in. Because so you have companies in Germany that produce chocolate and a lot of things that are associated with cocoa. Okay, so if they are sure that if they come in and then perhaps do this here, of course, what it does is cocoa beans are naturally very heavy, so they will only be sending in the processed cocoa cream or cocoa derivatives to companies there. And they know who used this, which companies are using these things. So it will be easier for them to come in to do this. And guess what? It's not just the cocoa farmers who are working. It creates a lot of employment, new employment, for a vast number of people. So this year, I think the outturn for cocoa is, I think the last time I heard, it's a shade under 700,000 tons of cocoa. If we had processed all this, imagine the number of people that we'll be able to employ, just that. So you use that same method in other areas, whether it's gold, put in refineries and refine them to standards that they want. But then you need the companies that do the refineries there to come here. What guarantees are you putting in place for them to come here? That is the challenge for government and policymakers. And I think that should be our trend of thought going forward, that we cannot do things the same way and expect different results. if we want the results to be different, then we have to change the ways we do these things. Period. That's really the bottom line.
Let's now talk about the GGEA and the role that you play in facilitating information sharing and networking among your member companies.
Okay. So, as you said this initially in your intro, our members are diverse, from diverse corporate backgrounds, from different industry sectors. So, first question is, for an association, we ask ourselves, why would somebody want to join us? You have to ask yourself, why would somebody want to be a part of you? It's a function we've seen of the services that you provide, attractive services that you provide, that then would get them to join you. So for our members who are in all these diverse industries, what do we provide them? We provide them with information on Ghana. So like typically, every week we provide them with an update on current happenings in the economy every week. Very, very useful. So most of them don't have time to really go through the newspapers or watch news and all that. So in brief, in the economic front, what is happening? We provide it to them. They find it very useful too. Twice a week, we provide them with forex numbers from all the banks. So we have links with all the banks. So they provide us with their forex numbers every day. And but then we look at the trend for Tuesday. We list everything that they have on Tuesday. Then we wait till Thursday and then give them Thursday. So they know if they need to perhaps access forex, they know where to go that offers them maybe a preferred price. Now, if we had not done that, what would they have done? That means that they will have to call each one of these on their own to do it. So this is a service we provide to our members. Now, for so many of them too, we provide intra-member trade. So among our members, they offer each other discounts for services. They do that among them. We promote this among our members to help one another to, and especially during those times when we had the COVID, we were all forced to be under lock and keys. That was when you realized the essence of membership, because then even those times they were doing trading among themselves, and they did that to help one another to grow. Now, but essentially, since we are a company, we are an entity of Ghanaian and German companies, that linkage has always been there. So somebody, company A in Ghana, is importing, for the sake of argument, importing wheat from company B in Germany. And then they will come to us and say, company B performance over the period is not up to par. Can you find us a couple of other companies so we can do this with? Okay, all right, well, no problem. So we will go out there through our network and say, hey, we need more companies who are in this line of business. They will provide us with 3 or 4 And then we don't choose for you, we give it to you, then you pick the one that you want, and then you start it. Then, based on how things go, you also provide us with feedback. Okay. That is for our members of Ghanaian origin. So our members of German origin, of course, their interest will not be the same. So for them, it's how do they penetrate and get into the Ghanaian marketplace. And so, let's say they want us to help them to get a certain caliber of employees. So we put that advert in our newsletter, and in fact it goes to about 5,000 companies here in Ghana and in Europe and North America. We put them there, that information there, and the contact details and everything is there. And before long, they call us and say, oh, what 20 people have applied. Right. Thank you very much. So this is what they need from us. And then maybe they need an agent to do certain things for them in Ghana. It could be a logistics company. It could be somebody to auditor or accountant or certain caliber of agents. We link them to that who are Ghanaian agents in Ghana. Then we do that. So it's so that it becomes a win-win situation. So at any moment in time, their needs and interests may not be the same, but the commonality is that they all enjoy working together and they all want to see themselves grow together as an individual unit and as members of an organization that they all care about. So that's what we do.
Right.
Yes.
And in terms of advocacy, does the GGEA advocate favorable policies and regulations that has the potential to benefit member companies?
Advocacy is one of our number one goals as an organization. So some of the Ghanaian entities will tell you that we are always on their necks. It's not because we don't like you. It's because of our members, they want certain things to be done right. So we typically, if a member comes in and say that, so the advocacy is in two fronts. First, individual advocacy, and then group or general advocacy. So there are situations where it's just an individual company has an issue with typically a government agency. So we will make an appointment, we will go there, and then jaw, and then we almost always find a solution or middle ground, and to their satisfaction and to the government's satisfaction. But then there are also areas that cuts across. So I can tell you that the issue with taxes and all these other things that I mentioned earlier, they cut across. And we typically would either through a forum format, or we have something, a special program we call Meet the Government Series. We do that maybe 3 times every year, Meet the Government Series. So one of the pertinent issues that have been bothering everybody, they're always communicating to us, so we put them all together and then mount a program, Meet the Government Series, and there we invite the appropriate people that are responsible for solving those. We put them all together on one table, one forum, and then we, in a very public way, we talk about the issues, and it's worked. It's worked very well. In some instances, after the conclusion of the program, they will invite those people to come, because they're at that forum, open forum format, they are better able to understand the issues better, that it's not just maybe one company. It's just a whole lot of them that are having this issue, and so it merits for them to give it a second thought or to look at it in the whole policy in its entirety with a view to maybe coming out with a better one and so on and so forth. And at times it's just, it could be maybe metropolitan or municipal assembly that we have issues with. We do all those things. So advocacy is our number one duty to our members. And I think over the years we've stood up to the challenge, yes.
You're watching International Trade Focus, and this is our in-depth segment. Our guest for today is Stephen Enchi. He's the president of the Ghanaian-German Economic Association. The conversation with him continues after this break. Don't go away.
What is all this? Why can't we ever seem to get this right? Our meetings are always chaotic, and that's why we are never able to plan efficiently. I have to do something now.
Yes, don't we all love solutions? The Tibjasi Valley Resort welcomes you to the stunning surrounds of the Eastern Highlands of Ghana for your next business meeting, seminar, retreat, or conference.
All their venues are equipped with the latest audiovisual technology as well as their very able conference and banqueting staff. At Tibjasi Valley Resort, you will work in peace and relaxation, coupled with scenes and adventures at the Bree Botanical Gardens, the Art Village, and many more. If you find yourself in my situation, remember, Tibjasi Valley Resort is your number one solution. Tibjasi Valley Resort. Live life.
Ohima, don't me taking number first.
Are you? Didn't you tell you say take your number give me?
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really?
Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, fill me tank, mama, what?
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fuel up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him.
Hey, go for mami.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy.
A warm welcome back. If you just tuned in, you're watching International Trade Focus, and this is our in-depth segment. On our in-depth segment this week, we're taking a look at the Ghanaian-German Economic Association and the role that this association plays in ensuring that there is mutually beneficial trade relations between Ghana and Germany. Our guest for today is the president of the GGEA, Stephen Enchi. So we will finally, before we wrap up, we'll talk about how a company, for instance, in Ghana can sign on to the GGEA. But before that, before a company decides that they want to enter the German market, before a Ghanaian company, in this case, decides that they want to enter the German market, what are some key factors that they need to pay attention to?
I think the key factor has been meeting, one, the EU phytosanitary standards. There are always bulletins on from the EU website. Of course, since Germany is part of the EU, it's ceded its sovereignty in that area to the EU. So once the EU approves it, then it can enter not just Germany, but all the other EU markets. That's one. Two, they have to also be interested in their capacity, like I mentioned again. Yes, you get access, then you don't have capacity. you've achieved nothing. It's not the little production that we do here. It's not going to amount to anything. It's just a drop in the ocean. So I think the real issue here is this. The real thing that companies need to do is this. First, they have to, in addition to knowing the phytosanitary requirements, among others, they have to gather themselves in, whether you want to call them cooperatives or what, groupings, to really say, we are going to help one another to achieve this standard. And so once we get a green light, let's all do it to the best of our ability so that we can meet the market's demands. Because guess what? If no store will want to bring in a product, the following week the shelf is empty. Customers, after it's caught on, customers come in for the product, it's not there. Customers will be angry at the store. They will not want to come there. Maybe they came in there because of that product, and after buying that product, then they do other shopping around. That product is not there, you've angered them, so they come in, it's not there, out the door they go. So we have to be mindful of that. That's the second point. And the third point is that we have to be mindful of our delivery deadlines, and that goes to the heart of the soft skills that I talked about earlier. If you say you're going to deliver at this time, please do. If there are issues, please contact them way in advance and let them know what the issues are. That way, you don't create problems for yourselves and for them. And they will better be able to manage that with their customers at the other end. Because for them, it's like, if you see their assembly line concept, if they are doing it, they need the car door. Car door is coming from Australia. This one is coming from here. The same concept applies. So they need your product to add to this product in order that they can produce X. And yours is not in, so the whole product chain has to come to a stop. Why? How can they depend on you again? So those are some of the things that we have to think about as we embark on this journey. But whatever it is, we're going to go on this journey together, and we can get it right.
I mean, based on everything that we've discussed, there's no doubt that the GGEA's role has been clearly spelled out. I mean, your job has been clearly cut out for you. It's not an easy one. I don't wish to be in your shoes, but you're doing an amazing job, and I must commend you on that. Let's take the next 5 years, for instance. Where do you see the GGEA being in the next 5 years?
I think in the next 5 years, we see our role as, I won't say kingmakers, but our role will be one of playing a much more middleman role, bringing in people, companies from Ghana, a lot more companies from Ghana, and a lot more companies from Germany, bringing them on board one platform to transact business. I can see situations where we would come out with maybe a certain software or some type where it won't always have to come through us, but it's already established. They just log in, plug in certain information that they want, and the algorithms will be set up in such a way that the moment they do that, then from the Ghana side doing that, it will spit out a whole host of companies who may meet their needs. And there, through the same platform, they'll be able to send out a short mail, say that they are interested in blah, 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 blah. And then within a short time, they'll get a response. And then perhaps they will have FaceTime or Zoom or Teams meeting there. In other words, we foresee situations where technology is going to play a much more effective role in the work we do to bring all these people together, because then it's going to be much more seamless, and thanks to technology, it's going to create situations where well, before we even come into the picture, it's just a matter of us making sure that it's not some robot or a 419 person trying to do this. Our role then will be just validating. So typically when we validating, establishing the bona fides of companies, we have people, we have contracted certain people to really visit your office, check your books, make sure you are in the line of business that you say you are, and everything, and then send a report on that with pictures and your face and so on and so forth with some documents to the company. That will be our role. Then the rest will be them talking to each other, and finally they continue their business. And then they don't necessarily have to report to us that they've done X amount of business among themselves, because it's going to be seamless. That's what we think. And definitely, we want within 5 years to hit the €1 billion mark in total trade between the two countries, without a doubt. And I think it's doable. A lot of the things that we're going to put into place, especially with this whole partnership concept, it's going to be easy to accomplish that. We don't have any qualms or doubts about this. It's going to happen, as we say in Ghana live. Right. Yes, it's going to happen without a doubt. Yes, that's how we foresee things to be. Yes.
Okay. So finally, if there's a business owner or there's a company that's watching us and wants to know, how do I sign on to become a member company under the GGEA? What does the process look like?
Okay, so the process is quite similar to what I described earlier. So first, they put in an application. They contact us through one of our phone numbers that will be displayed, or our email address, or one of our social media pages, and indicate their willingness to become members of the organization. And then we will respond and provide them with application forms to fill out. Once they fill them out, then we will vet them. Mind you, a lot of these partnership issues that we're talking about, if we're already a member, we would have done the bona fides on you already. So we don't have to come and do all these things for you. Now, but this service that we're doing from next year going, we don't want to restrict it to members. We want to open it up to the general business community, to the general Ghanaian business community, for them to take advantage of it. So for those who are not members and still want to take advantage of it, we will come and do all these things and check you out, check your audited statements, and so on and so forth. And then once we are satisfied with it, the board will take a look at it every month or so, every quarter or so. We have board meetings. We look at it. And even before the board meetings, the staff will send it around for us to take a look at it with all the reports from you. And if everybody is satisfied, majority of the board members are satisfied, we say, okay, then we send invitations to you to come in and pay your yearly subscription. Then you are on. Then you become part of it. Yes.
Right, so we've spoken about the process, how to join it, but briefly, let's touch on what members stand to gain. So I've signed on to the GGEA. As a member, what do I stand to gain?
Okay. So as a member, you're entitled to a whole plethora of services that we provide. First one, like I always say, is information. Information is everything. So you get to know firsthand, you'll be the first person to know what is going on if we're having a delegation coming in from Germany and the background of all those members coming in. One thing people should know for sure is that when companies decide to embark on a delegation or to become part of a delegation to a country such as Ghana, that means they've already somehow made up their mind, maybe about 60–70% that they want to do business in Ghana. The next step is, who do I do this business with? Who do I pair with to deliver this business? And I've heard that the economic environment is this. Is it really the case? So they come in for validation and also to know, like I said, who to transact business with. And so they will be the first people or persons or companies to know who is coming in, who is not coming. And once these guys come, so we segment them, we will do segmentation as to the category, industry type that they will be coming in from these delegation or members of the delegation. And so you'll be able to prepare, also look at them, look at the background and say, I'm targeting this, or I'm targeting that. And so you may give us information, we will ask you, do any of these companies interest you? Yes, yes, I want to meet this one, I want to meet that one. So you will see company A, a member 1, 2, 3, 4 want to meet you. Company B, then we schedule a time for each one of them, maybe typically 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And then when they come, first we give them overviews of the Ghanaian economy, we provide answers to some of the nagging questions that they have. And afterwards, we allow for this interaction. And they, when you meet certain types of people, they were first, some people, you meet them the first time around, right away, you kind of jive with them. So, this guy I can do business with. And they don't need anything else. Say, no, I think I can do it with him. The human contact, the human element, it helps. So that's the first and most important thing. First is information, and then second, possible opportunity to partner with members who come in. Third is facilitation. If you also want to be able to go and meet certain partners there, we do that. The fourth is we offer delegation. We do delegation to important trade missions there. You could be part of it. And the same thing, when they also see that you have left the comfort of your environment to come there as part of delegation, then they think this guy means business. Okay? And they will be much more happy to say, okay, let's do it with you. Rather than as opposed to you send an email, I'm doing this, I want to do. They see you. You tell your story. So they see how they have a handshake with you. They see how you feel. I mean, that's human thing comes into play. It's okay. I can do this with guy. So, yes, and the best thing of all is our networking. Networking is paramount in this day and age. Now, so you leverage on members to network to find products. So, for instance, company A wants to get certain products, and then he knows company B has those products, sells those products. He gets in, we have a policy, please provide them 5% minimum. And if you can go up, go up. So they are able to network among themselves, and if he doesn't even have that type of product that you want, he'll be able to direct you to a supplier somewhere in Germany or elsewhere who may have that niche product that you're looking for. So it makes business very interesting for everybody. You know, the advantages are numerous. I can't sit here and then enumerate each one of them here, but if you are a company out there who seeks good technical support, if you're a company out there who genuinely are interested in expanding your capacity, if you're a company out there who really want to take the next step in your processes and establish certain dominance and presence in the marketplace, give Ghanaian-German Economic Association a chance. We will connect you and link you to the right sources, to the right people, to the right technology, and your world will never be the same again.
And that was Stephen Enchi, the president of the Ghanaian-German Economic Association. Together, we delved deeper into the association's role in fostering mutually beneficial trade relations between Germany and Ghana. News and events comes up shortly after this break. Don't go away.
Ohima, no be me taking number first.
Are you? Didn't you tell you say take the number give me?
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really?
Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me talk mama what?
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Fuel up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got hit first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him.
Hey, go for na buajungwa mami.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy.
The Chief Executive Officer of Rapport Services, Mrs. Judy Nakor Kriem, and her partners have officially launched Gold Statement 2023, an annual exhibition and conference that brings stakeholders and policymakers together to promote value addition to Ghana's sustainably mined precious minerals, and also to showcase the craftsmanship of Ghanaian jewelers and goldsmiths. Speaking at the press launch that took place at the Lancaster Hotel in Accra, Ms. Judy Graham was expectant that this year's conference would be an improvement on the previous event, as they have formed linkages with the African Minerals Development Center, as well as participants from the Eastern, Southern and Northern Africa will be present to showcase beautiful gemstones and jewelry from the continent. She added that a lapidary workshop announced last year for the training of young women and men in the art of gemstone cutting and polishing, as well as the construction of a gold and jewelry park in Accra to serve as a center for gold producers and the jewelry industry, was in progress.
We promise that this year will be an improvement on last year's event. And indeed, through God's grace, we have formed linkages with the African Minerals Development Center, who have recognized the good work we have been doing in Ghana and are partnering with us this year. As sisters and brothers from Eastern, Southern, and Northern Africa, as well as West Africa, will be joining us so that we showcase some of the most beautiful gemstones and jewelry from our great continent. As announced last year, the lapidary workshop structure for training of young women and men in the art of gemstone cutting and polishing will be completed by the end of this month. The next step is to install the necessary equipment.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alexander Dodu, also at the launch, stated that through the industry's collaborative efforts and partnerships, the standards for testing gold and jewelry have been extended and was looking forward to its improvement. Essentially considered as the hub of gold in Africa, Ghana has over the years gradually turned the wheels of being just a raw exporter of gold minerals to an exporter of value-added gold, while significantly maintaining its position as the largest producer of gold in the region. While gold still holds the largest value in the country and beyond, precious minerals like diamonds, bauxite, manganese, limestones, among others, abound in all parts of the country, branding the country as a lucrative hub for mining investments. In recent years, the discovery of colored gemstones, gemstone cotton, also known as lapidary, and gemstone jewelry has garnered attention as a potential lucrative global trade Ghana can partake in. Lapidary mining and value addition, despite being a booming business in countries like Tanzania, producing an impressive amount of 24 million kilograms as of 2020, was recently given attention in Ghana. Progress on expanding gemstone mining and cotton for trade was taken up a notch when it was introduced to the public and business investors at the Gold Statement Program by Rapport Services in 2022. For Gold Statement Value Addition 2023, Madam Judy Nako-Kreyem, CEO of Rapport Services, Organisers of Gold Statement, said that as part of new additions to the precious mineral industry, a lapidary workshop was going to be inaugurated to push artisanal skills and encourage gemstone jewelry making. The workshop was duly inaugurated by Rapport Services and her partners on November 14, 2023. Mr. Isaac Ajovu, a geologist who introduced lapidary to the Ghana Jewelers Association as a potential lucrative business, was assigned head in charge of the workshop. At the inauguration of the workshop, Mr. Ajovu ran the audience through the processes, course lessons, value chains, and safety measures involved in lapidary mining. He noted that the workshop was duly equipped with the necessary equipment to begin lapidary lessons despite challenges, and quite a number of 20 trainees were to be expected in the meantime. UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce UKGCC hosted the second edition of the UKGCC Gala Dinner and Business Awards Night last Saturday, 18th November 2023, to celebrate the trade and bilateral relations that has existed between Ghana and the United Kingdom for decades. Building on the theme Forging Stronger Ties, celebrating decades of excellence in the UK-Ghana trade relations, businesses were presented awards to applaud their excellence and commitment to the Ghana-UK business scene. Some awardees of the night included Tallow Oil Limited, who won the Economic Impact Award, Standard Chartered Bank, who won Decades of UK-Ghana Business Partnership Award, GCB Bank, who won the Dynamic Member Award, Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited, who also won the Social Impact Award, whilst Vivo Energy, Absa Ghana, Vodafone Ghana, and Hogan Lovells all won Founding Member Award. Speaking at the event, the Honorable Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, said Ghana, with its transformational agenda, recognizes the crucial role played by the private sector in fostering economic growth and development. The government, thus, is focused on creating an environment where businesses can thrive and opportunities are acquired.
Excellency Raudoran Kufar was clarion call had always been for a transformational economic development of the country. An economy, he said, should be one of beyond aid, launched a multifaceted industrial transformation program geared towards expanding and diversifying our manufacturing base and incentivizing investment in the transformative economic and social outcomes with great focus on creation of jobs. This economic transformation is private sector led. This is because Ghana, like many other countries, recognize the pivotal role that a stronger partnership between the government and the private sector plays in fostering economic growth, innovation, and sustainable development. That we, as a government, are committed to demystifying the business regulatory regime in the country to ensure that businesses are conducted with relative ease. In this regard, I am happy to announce that I would be submitting to Cabinet for consideration and approval the Business Regulatory Reforms Commission Bill, which will then be laid in Parliament for passage into law, hopefully in its first session in 2024.
The Trade Minister also noted that in line with creating a relatively easy business environment, the Ministry is submitted to Parliament for consideration and approval a Business Regulatory Reform Commission Bill for passage into law by 2024. He noted that the framework for the UK-Ghana Trade Partnership Agreement, the UK-Ghana Business Council, among others, provided useful mechanism for monitoring and addressing challenges. He said that other programs, such as the Jobs and Economic Transformation Project Initiative, also had the flexibility to support and maintain UK investments to Ghana more competitively.
It's been an amazing night of celebration, of celebrating our member companies, celebrating our chamber, and also celebrating UK-Ghana trading relations, which dates back over several decades. And all of the winners are deserving award winners, outstanding businesses in our membership who are contributing so much to the economy of Ghana and have strengthened the trading relations between Ghana and the UK. So tonight was also a celebration of resilience of all the companies that were represented here. And as you can see, in spite of the difficult terrain, we are here, we are happy, and we are optimistic about the year ahead. And we are just about to finish the report for our 2023 Business Climate Survey. And so please look out for the report, which will be publicly published in December before the year ends. And you will know how our businesses feel.
Minister for Finance, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, has announced a series of tax incentive measures to take effect in the year 2024 as part of the government's fiscal efforts to alleviate the economic difficulties facing Ghanaians. Presenting the 2024 Nkunim budget in Parliament, the minister announced an extended zero rate of VAT on locally manufactured African print for 2 more years, a new waiver on import duties on imported electric vehicles for public transformation and knockdown electric vehicles registered by electric vehicles assembly companies in Ghana, an extended zero rate VAT on locally assembled vehicles for 2 more years, as well as a grant exemption on importation of agricultural machinery, among others, were also announced.
Mr. Speaker, tax reliefs. Our approach to tax policy since 2017 was to give significant relief to the private sector until expenditure pressures from 2020 required a more aggressive approach. It is important to note that in the short term, fiscal sustainability requires that we improve our tax ratios significantly, otherwise our long-term competitiveness will be eroded. The following reliefs have been prioritized for implementation. To extend, Mr. Speaker, the zero rate of VAT on locally manufactured African prints for 2 more years. Mr. Speaker, to waive import duties on import of electric vehicles for public transportation for a period of 8 years. Mr. Speaker, to waive import duties on semi-knockdown and completely knockdown electric vehicles imported by registered EV assembly companies in Ghana for a period of 8 years. Mr. Speaker, to extend zero rate of VAT on locally assembled vehicles for 2 more years. Mr. Speaker, to zero rate VAT on locally produced sanitary pads. Mr. Speaker, to grant import duty waivers for raw materials for the local manufacture of sanitary pads. Mr. Speaker, to grant exemptions on the importation of agricultural machinery equipment and inputs and medical consumables, raw materials for the pharmaceutical industry. Mr. Speaker, a VAT flat rate of 5% to replace the 15% standard VAT rate on all commercial properties will be introduced to simplify administration.
Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta also projected the value of Ghana's economy to bounce from 219.5 billion Ghana cedis as recorded in 2016 to 1 trillion Ghana cedis in 2024. He emphasized that the government sought to spend more in 2024 to raise total expenditure to 21.3 billion Ghana cedis.
Mr. Speaker, the 2024 budget is even more significant because we cross, Mr. Speaker, the 1 trillion gross domestic product mark for the first time in our economic history. Let me repeat, Mr. Speaker, Ghana's economy under President Akufo-Addo in 2024, final year in office, is projected to be valued over 1 trillion Ghana cedis in 2024 from the 219.5 billion we inherited in 2016.
Are you an importer or exporter? Do you need quick financing at the best rate on the market? ADB has good news for you. Walk into any agricultural development bank location nationwide for that solution to all your trade financing needs. ADB offers you pre-financing of exports and imports, post-shipment credit facilities, bank guarantees, the issuance and acceptance of letters of credit, documentary bills for collection, outward documentary collection. Enjoy free advisory services from our well-trained, dedicated trade officers. Exporters of agricultural products are encouraged to take advantage of this great service. For further enquiries, call us on 0302 210 210. ADB, making trade finance easy. ADB, truly agric and more.
And it's a wrap for this week's edition of International Trade Focus. Join us same time next week. My name is Anna Spio. International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOL, Good Energy, ADB, Truly, Agric and More, Public Elegance and Pedias Valley Resort. Bye-bye.